Hey guys, what's up? Today is finally my wrap-up and book haul for February of 2015. I believe I read 7 books this month and I think I bought 8. That's a pretty good balance. So without further ado, we're going to start off with the book haul. Alright, so the first book I bought this month was Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. I actually ordered this like mid-January and it did not come until February. I picked this book out to complete my first challenge for my TBR challenge of 2015, which was to read something that is not my normal YA novel. So I picked a graphic novel. I did read it this month to make up for the fact that I wasn't able to read it in January, so I will be talking about it more in the wrap-up. But regardless, this challenge has been completed. Alright, the next book I received this month is Invaded by Melissa Landers. I read the first book in this series, Alienated, in January, and I fell in love with it. I found out the sequel was only coming out a month later, so naturally I pre-ordered it. So I really love this book. Again, I read it this month. I'm going to talk about it more in the wrap-up, but it is now on my shelf next to Alienated, where it belongs. Alright, so the next books that I'm going to be adding to my collection has a bit of a story to how I got them. One of my friends on Twitter, Stewart, was like, "Hey Emma, I got this Amazon gift card, I don't want any more of it. Let me send you books." And of course, because I never accept anything, I was like, no, don't send me anything. I don't want to use it on yourself. Like, I was weirded out because nobody ever just offers to buy me books. Like, that's not a thing that happens. And he was like, no, like, really, like, I don't need anything else. Send me your Amazon wishlist so I can send you books. I'd rather you get something out of it than myself. And I was like, okay. So I sent him my Amazon wishlist, and he was like, okay, I'm going to send you the selection. And I was like, okay, cool. The selection wasn't something that I was like super keen on reading, so I didn't know if I was ever going to actually get the books myself. I've heard some good and some bad things about it, so like it wasn't at the top of my to-read list. And so the package comes, and I'm expecting this one book, right? Nope. He sent me the other two too, so now I have all of these. I really wasn't expecting one book, much less 3, but thank you so much, Stewart, because this was such an awesome surprise. So for the last 3 books in my book haul, they have to do with a certain book I've been talking about a lot recently. I feel like anyone who has recently been to my channel knows my stance on these books because I just talk about them all the time. So this series is complete, and I'm hopefully going to be finishing these last 2 books this month or next month because wow, do I love this series. But that completes the book haul. Now let's move on to the wrap-up. I really wish I could tell you what order I read these in because I really don't remember. But I believe the first book I read this month was Fairest by Marissa Meyer. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because I thought it was just the most interesting read I've read this year so far. I will have a review of this up. I know I said this in my January wrap-up. I haven't filmed it yet. It's not going to be a normal review where I'm just standing here talking to you about it. There's something a little different about it that I want to start doing on my channel. So I just kind of have to push myself to be like, Emma, stop thinking this is a stupid idea. Just post it and see what other people think. But I will have it up soon enough because I worked too hard to get that video working. So I'm going to film it, I'm going to upload it, and I really hope I can promise you that it'll be up this month. The next book I believe I read in February was Volition by Lily Paradise. Lily Paradise is this amazing author, an amazing person that I've been in contact with for a bit. She sent me her debut novel, Ignite, to review. If you want to watch that, I'll put the description. If you want to see what that whole thing's about, I have a spoiler-free review on my channel, so I will post that in the down bar. And so she loved my review so much that she me to her, I guess it's like kind of like a street team. These are all bloggers and booktubers and people who she's going to send ARCs to read her books. So this is my first actual physical ARC, which is exciting. And if that wasn't exciting enough, she put me in the acknowledgements of this book, which is the most exciting thing that has ever happened to me, especially since starting this channel. I can't even begin to tell you guys how amazing this book was, but I have a spoiler-free review of it if you're interested, so I will post that link in the down bar and you should definitely go check it out. This book was just absolutely phenomenal. I know that I said Ferris was probably my most interesting read of 2015 so far, but this is the most unique book I have ever read in all of my years of reading. So I really recommend you guys check out my spoiler-free review and consider picking this book up because it was pretty dang good. Alright, then next I believe I read Invaded by Melissa Landers. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because it was just so good. I'd say I liked Alienated better, but that doesn't change the fact that this book was awesome. I am super excited to continue with this series. If you are into YA, sci-fi, fantasy, romance, this is definitely the series for you. It was hella cool. I loved it. I had so much fun reading this book. I really did. Then I believe after that I read Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. Now I know that graphic novels don't generally take people as long to read as like a normal novel, but I read this book in 15 minutes. But the art in this book is so cool and so unique. Look at it. It's so cool. Look at all the colors. Look at that. It's so cool. I don't think it was as scary as everyone was talking about. I mean, I don't read a lot of horror as it is. I would love to, so if you guys have any horror recommendations, leave them below. Books don't really scare me as much as TV shows and movies do, so I think that's why I didn't love this book, but I really, really enjoyed it and still gave it 5 out of 5 stars. But if you're looking for like a really cool, really fast read and you like graphic novels, I think you guys should pick this one up. Alright, so next up, I read Everything I Learned About Life I Learned in Dance Class by Abby Lee Miller. I buddy read this with Kelly from Kelly's Book Spill because we are both huge Dance Moms fans, and so I found out that Abby Lee Miller had a book and I was like, I have to get this book. This book was really interesting too. It's basically a guide on how to further your kid's dance career. Obviously, I don't have a child, but I do want my kids to be dancers regardless, and I still enjoyed reading about it because I know a lot about Abby Lee Miller, I know about the kids that she works with, and I just find, I don't know, I just really enjoyed this book. And technically, this does complete one of the challenges in my TBR jar. One of the challenges is to read a nonfiction book. This is nonfiction. I don't know if I'm going to count this for the challenge yet. It really depends as to when I pick that challenge out of the jar, if I'm going to be like, okay, I want to read a nonfiction this book, because there's not a lot of nonfiction on my TBR, and I have already read one this year, so I don't know if I'm going to count it, but when I pull it out of the jar, I'll let you guys know. But I gave 5 out of 5 stars to Everything I Learned About Life I Learned in Dance Class. If you're a dancer, if you want your kids to be dancers, regardless, if you enjoy just the dance industry, I learned so much about it just from this tiny little book. So if you're into that kind of stuff, pick it up and talk to me about it because it was really well written. Then the final book that I read this month completes the challenge for February that I picked out of my TBR jar. I forgot to show you guys what it was during my January wrap-up and haul, but the challenge was to start a series that I had been avoiding reading. I'm definitely not in the right mindset to read Game of Thrones now. It's just too much of a commitment for me right now. But I started Lord of the Rings with The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, and oh my god, this book was so good. I can't get over it. I don't know how I didn't read it sooner because obsession. I don't know why I love The Hobbit so much, but I just, oh my god, it is such a good book, and so I obviously needed to read Lord of the Rings. Like, it was coming at some point. Finally, I gave myself the push to read it, and 5 out of 5 stars, 100%. I really have a thing for Tolkien's writing, even though I know it's really long, it's a very dense book. I really enjoy the way he writes. I really love everything that happened in this book. I love all the characters. Well, all the characters, because Sauron is a dick, obviously. Oh my god, someone talked to me about Lord of the Rings because, wow. So I finally started the series. I don't think I'm going to jump right into the Two Towers. I'm content with starting it. I've taken the baby steps to finishing that series. So I'll probably just watch the movie, and then eventually when I feel up to it, I'll start the Two Towers. I just feel like this isn't the kind of series you marathon. I feel like you really need to drag it out to enjoy it. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I almost forgot to mention this, but I also read a novella this month. I read Welcome to the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare. This is the new novella series for the Mortal Instruments. Speaking of Mortal Instruments, the Mortal Read-Along has just recently started on March 1st, where we are going to be reading a different book of the Mortal Instruments series over the span of 6 months. So if you're into it, if you want to reread the books or a second chance to read them, you should definitely join our Goodreads group, which is going to be in the link below. But back to the Shadowhunter Academy, it's really hard for me to explain this without going into spoilers from City of Heavenly Fire. So I can't really give you guys a synopsis on it, but wow, on page 9 of this novella, I was hysterically crying. So if that doesn't prove to you how emotionally attached I am to that series and how good that stupid novella was, I don't know what will. But yes, I absolutely loved it. I am so looking forward to the rest of these. But that is the end of the wrap-up. So now I'm going to be doing what I intended to do last January, was to show you guys what my challenge is for March. Got my Mischief Madness jar. Gotta open this contraption. Ow. Let's see. I'm really enjoying doing this challenge, so I hope, you know, March doesn't ruin it or something. Let's see what this one is. Read the last book that you bought. This works out for me because I was planning on reading this book next anyways. So the last book I technically bought was 50 Shades of Freed, but I obviously can't read that without reading 50 Shades Darker, so I think that's what I'm going to choose for this month. Currently reading City of Bones so that I can just get the Mortal Read-Along thing out of the way so I don't have to worry about it later in the month. But then next, I'm going to be starting 50 Shades Darker, which I'm very excited to do. This challenge totally worked out for me because I was planning on doing this anyways. But I will probably read 50 Shades Darker, and I'll probably read 50 Shades Freed after that. So there's a little bit of my TBR for this month. But that is it, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon for a new video. Bye!